It's not
Good
stuck,
morning.
It's just short.
Good morning.
It's not stuck, it's just
No,
short.
it's not stuck. It's just short. Good morning. I haven't gotten to say hello to you yet. One of my favorite things to do is just take in everyone. When I first arrive in this position on Sunday morning, because I'm so aware of the energy that all of you bring to the room and the inspiration that you bring to me as we participate together in the considerations of what we're taking a look at this morning. Zoom, is that better? Hello? Yes. Oh, I got this from Jane. Okay. So we've been talking all month about why give and what is the idea behind giving? What is the emotion that we want to feel, or the involvement that we want to feel through our giving? Whether it's giving to support our spiritual center, giving to pay for groceries at the grocery store, giving in order to put gas in our car. The prices are astonishing, she said with a smile. So one of the things that is important to look at, and Denise, of course, introduced it to us in that piece by Thomas Troward. And for those of you who are familiar with Troward, you know that he preceded Ernest Holmes by at least a generation. And he was a judge, and he was a mathematician, and he would be asked to speak at these conferences. I don't know what they were called at that time, but large gatherings where he would be speaking to other mathematicians and other scientists and other judges. And he would be saying things like Denise read. That took some courage, because they thought, or may have thought, I wasn't there, so far as I know. But they thought, or may have thought, that they were there to hear something about a scientific or a mathematical discovery, or a deeper way, or a fuller way of being, of serving as a judge. They weren't necessarily there, they thought, to hear about how the divine and the human work together. And so I'm a big Troward fan, and a lot of people aren't, not because his work isn't interesting, but because he's wordier than Ernest Holmes.
For sure, for sure.
At any rate, to begin today, I have a story to share with you. I know it by heart, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss a detail. Acres of Diamonds was the story of a Persian man, still is, the story of a Persian man named Ali Hafed. He was a very wealthy man with a beautiful family. One day, a Buddhist priest made a visit to the old Persian farmer and spent most of his time telling Ali Hafed about the beauty and value of diamonds. Ali Hafed grew so engrossed with the thought of owning his own diamond mine that seeds of discontentment grew in his heart. He sold his farm. He left his family with a neighbor and set off on a lifelong quest for diamonds. After searching several countries, he stood in rags at the bay in Barcelona and took his own life. He had spent all and had nothing to show for it. It was a tragic story, but the saddest part was yet to come. Soon after Ali Hafed left Persia, the man who purchased his farm led his camel to a garden brook to drink. As the camel drank from the shallow water, it uncovered an interesting stone. Thinking it very beautiful, he polished it and set it on the mantle over the fire. The same priest came to visit and immediately recognized it as a diamond. They began to sift through the garden sands and found another and another. Beneath Ali Hafed's farm sat the great diamond mine of Golconda. The crown jewels of England and Russia would come from that mine. It was the largest discovery of a diamond mine in the world at that time. The moral of this story, of course, because you're all very bright, was that if Ali Hafed had simply stayed home and worked in his own garden, he would have found acres of diamonds. What he was looking for all along was in front of him every day. So if what we're looking for, if what we're feeling dissatisfaction about, if what we're feeling is lacking, if what we're feeling is insufficient, is actually in front of us every day, where are we looking? The invitation, of course, is to look where we are, to look for the wealth of whatever it is that we feel would make our lives richer, whatever it is that we feel would make our lives fuller, whatever it is that we feel would make our lives better. It's right here. And in the reading this morning by Denise, the point is that we have the tools. We have the tools to set up the magnetism the cycle of magnetism that puts us and whatever it is that we believe would be so much better than what we have now in the same place. The diamonds were right where he was. The diamonds were right where he was. So if our looking and our seeking and our yearning is, you know, the old saying about the grass is always greener?
Mhm.
What's the rest of that saying? On the other side. And what does that imply? The grass is not greener where we are. That we have to be someplace that we're not in order to find that greener grass. Well, this may surprise you, but I'm going to agree that we have to be someplace we're not in order to find that greener grass. We have to be someplace we're not in here and in here. Because where we are in our brain and in our beliefs is that the grass is greener on the other side. The story of the prodigal son is the same. I love the story of the prodigal son. He lived in a household of great wealth, and yet he was dissatisfied. He wanted more, and he knew that more was out there somewhere. And so he left. And he searched, and he searched, and he searched, and he did not find satisfaction anywhere. So he came home. And he came home convinced that it wasn't going to go well for him, that he was going to be punished for leaving. But is that what happened?
No.
No. Not only, to his brother's chagrin, was he welcomed with open arms, he was welcomed with a feast, he was welcomed with them killing a prize something for the feast. He was welcomed as if he were the most important being in the world. And there was no punishment. And what I want you to know is that that is the same relationship that we have in, with, for, as the divine beings that we are. Because Spirit's just hanging out, you know, waiting for our attention to turn, as the beautiful music this morning invited us to do, for our attention to turn to where the source of our good truly is. Because it isn't if we can get somebody else to do something else.
Mhm.
If we could just get somebody else to do something else, then everything would be all better. No. First of all, waiting for somebody else to do something else may be a long wait. We can do something else right now. We can change our minds right now. We can consider the possibilities. Okay, so I'll give you that changing your mind isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. Because whatever belief that we've held for a long time is a belief we've held for a long time. And it isn't just because Reverend Ann says so that we can change our mind and have a new idea. I know that. What I also know is that the seeds for that new idea are what is being scattered right here and now onto fertile ground. And we are receptive even when we're resisting. No matter how fond of our resistance we are. There is a place within us that is always receptive to the higher idea, to the seeds for our greater expression, our greater experience. We are always receptive, no matter how much effort we put into being resistant. And boy, oh boy, I want to tell you, that is a big job. To just be determined to be resistant. If we use the same energy to tend those seeds, just for the heck of it, just to see what might grow. True story this. So when Denise, she planted 2 tomato plants as part of our first venture into planting in our backyard. She stuck her toe in the water by planting 2 tomato plants. And one was a cherry tomato, and it has just made tomatoes like crazy. The other one is a purple tomato, and we were getting nothing off of this other tomato plant.
Lots of flowers.
That would then fall off. More flowers that would then fall off. More flowers that would then fall off. And Denise said, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get tomatoes off of that plant. And I said, well, we planted late as far as tomatoes go. And this just may be its first go round. You know, next year it could come back and just be, ta-da, here I am. Yesterday, there was a purple tomato. Now, the reason that story is relevant is because we didn't stop taking care of the tomato plant just because it wasn't doing what we thought it should. We didn't stop caring for it. We didn't stop talking to it. We didn't stop any of our attention to it. We treated it just as if it were just bringing tomatoes like by the bushel. That's how we have to be That's what's required to really change our mind, to really have a new thought, to really have a new belief that our whole heart is committed to. We stay with it. We don't just, a while ago, I'll just say, there were teachers of our philosophy who would tell you, because this is an Ernest Holmes quote directly from The Science of Mind, change your thinking, change your life. And the way that the teachers taught it, it was as if you should expect instantaneous results. Well, the thing is, we don't believe in instantaneous results. Most of us absolutely do not believe that things can turn around, as the old saying goes, on a dime. So we have to put the work in. It's like the quote from Denise's reading this morning. God will provide the food, but we still have to cook the dinner. It's not that there's nothing else for us to do, but think, oh, that's a good idea. And that's better than the idea or the belief or the operating system I was using before. So I think I'll just switch to that and everything will be fine. We have to hang in with it. We have to hang in with it long enough to absorb the energy of the new belief. It's I know you guys hate this word, practice. It's a practice. Our beautiful singers this morning did not learn kirtan the very first time they heard it. They practiced. That reminds me, one of the things I'd love for you to do before you do your last piece is to talk about your instruments. They practiced. And they learned about the deeper meaning of what it is that they shared with us. Because like all other music, there are the lyrics and there's the melody, and then there is the depth of what happens when the piece comes together. So our idea of easy breezy spirituality is false. Bottom line. And just because we approach things in our philosophy, we approach things in a slightly different way, it doesn't take out of the picture what is ours to do. And what is ours to do is to make such an investment. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about investing our energy, investing our intention, investing part of every day, or maybe all of every day, depending on how it is that we want to be in the world. To the new idea. And I want to prepare you that there may be an even better idea once you're in the new idea. Because once you're in the new idea, You're in a different realm of possibility.
Mhm.
You know, it's like we talk about making choices. And every time that we make a choice, a whole other range of choices opens up before us that weren't there until we made that choice. This is the same. The realm of possibilities that are then available to us, it's not like they weren't available before, but we couldn't see them. We couldn't feel them. We couldn't consider them because we were in the range we were in.
Mhm.
And the only way we're going to move into a different range, a more expansive range, a more fulfilling range, a more exciting range, is to change our mind. Is to change our mind about what life really holds for us. To change our mind about what one person can do. You know, there is a lot of blah blah about that. About, well, I'm just one person. What can I do? We can make eye contact with everyone we see. We can smile first at everyone that crosses our path. We can offer assistance, a hand up, carrying a bag, taking a grocery cart. I'm not talking about any big deal. But what I'm here to tell you is that it's all a big deal.
Yeah.
Because it changes the way the energy is at work where you've been. And it's all good. It's all good. It all counts. It all matters. It's all worth it.
Yep.
There is nothing that isn't important. Especially you. And 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 you.
And you.
Thank you, Rita.
Yes.
So as we put a bow on today, and we're thinking about Thomas Trower's words, and you know, if they kind of got lost in the experience of today with the fullness of and beauty of the music and everything that everyone else has said, please let me know and I'll send you a copy. Because it'll make a difference. We are making a difference. And it's worth it. And so it is.
And so it is.